Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Welcome to the Sri Vidya Temple's online classes in chanting. Today we'll be finishing up a session on Sri Suktam, which is a very powerful and beautiful Vedic hymn for Sri, commonly thought of as Sri Lakshmi Devi. So what I will do is I will share my screen to show the text in just 1 minute. We'll start with the Ganapati prayer, and then I'll start with the Suktam, where we left off last time. So first I will share my screen. Okay, so first the Ganapati prayer. Om Shuklam Bharadharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vikhnopashantaye. Okay, so last time I think we did end with this Ardram Pushkarinim, but just in case, I'm going to start with that one. And there's only about 3 or 4 mantras left in the Suktam. So once we finish, I will chant the full Suktam, maybe 2 or 3 times as a practice for today. Okay, so starting from Ardram, I'll be reciting maybe a half line 3 times. So you can listen the first 1 or 2 times and then chant along. Artram pushkarinim pushtim pingalam padmamalinim. Artram pushkarinim pushtim pingalam padmamalinim. Artram pushkarinim pushtim pingalam padmamalinim. Now the next line. Chandram hiranmahim Lakshmi. Chandram hiranmahim Lakshmi. Chandram hiranmahi Lakshmi. Jatavedo ma'avaha. Jatavedo ma'avaha. Jatavedo ma'avaha. Now the full line. Chandram hiranmahi Lakshmi jatavedo ma'avaha. Chandram hiranmahi Lakshmi jatavedo ma'avaha. Chandram hiranmahi Lakshmi jatavedo ma'avaha. Now the next mantra. Artrayah karini yashtim. Artrayah karini yashtim. Artrayah karini yashtim. Suvarnam hemamalini. Suvarnam hemamalini. Suvarnam hemamalini. Now the full line. Artrayah karini yashtim suvarnam hemamalini. Artrayah karini yashtim suvarnam hemamalini. Artrayah karini yashtim suvarnam hemamalini. So here in this line, it's a little bit tricky because we have the anuswara followed by a ya sound, and that occurs twice in this line. And when anuswara is followed by yakara, it gets pronounced in a very unusual way. You can imagine saying a ya sound, but you nasalize it. So you add a nasal tone to a ya sound, and it sounds a little bit like ay, ayah, artrayah. And then here we have karini yashtim, karini yashtim. Okay, so that takes a little bit of practice. Then again, we have the sarga followed by a ka sound. So that means that this visarga will be pronounced as yah, yah. This is the jihva mulya form of visarga, meaning that it's pronounced at the root of the tongue. That's the meaning of jihva mulya. So we have yah karinim, yah karinim. Okay, I'll say the line one more time and you can listen for those sounds. Artrayah karini yashtim suvarnam hemamalini. Now the next line. Suryam hiranmayi Lakshmi. Suryam hiranmayi Lakshmi. Suryam hiranmayi Lakshmi. Jata vedo ma'avaha. Jata vedo ma'avaha. Jata vedo ma'avaha. So in this line and a few other places in the Suktam, we have visarga followed by a la sound. So in this case, the visarga is pronounced like a la sound, but with a nasal tone added. So it's like Mayin Lakshmi, Mayin Lakshmi. So you can put your tongue in the position of a la sound and just add a nasal quality to that. So now I'll chant the full line. Suryam hiranmayi Lakshmi jata vedo ma'avaha. Suryam hiranmayi Lakshmi jata vedo ma'avaha. Suryam hiranmayi Lakshmi jata vedo ma'avaha. Okay. Now the next line. Tam ma'avaha jata vedo. Tam ma'avaha jata vedo. Tam ma'avaha jata vedo. Lakshmi manapagamini. Lakshmi manapagamini. Lakshmi manapagamini. Now the full line. Tam ma'avaha वेदो लक्ष्मीमनपगामिनी ताम् आवहजत वेदो लक्ष्मीमनपगामिनी ताम् आवहजत वेदो लक्ष्मीमनपगामिनी Now the next line. Yasyam hiranyam prabhutam Yasyam hiranyam prabhutam Yasyam hiranyam prabhutam Gavo dasyoshvane Gavo dasyoshvane Gavo dasyoshvane Vindeyam purushanaham Vindeyam purushanaham Vindeyam purushanaham. So in this line, there's a slightly unusual swara combination. And you see that here in dasyoshvane Vindeyam purushanaham. Normally, we would not pronounce this word as dasyoshvane. It would just be dasyoshvan. But in this line, because there's an upper swara on the n sound, and then it's followed by another specific combination of sound and swara, there's a slight gap here. So when I recite the whole line, you can listen for how that sounds. So this is one particular rule of chanting in the Krishna Yajurveda. So I'll do the full line. Yasyam hiranyam prabhutam gavo dasyoshvane vindeyam purushanaham Yasyam hiranyam prabhutam gavo dasyoshvane Vindeyam purushanaham Yasyam hiranyam prabhutam gavo dasyoshvane Vindeyam purushanaham. Okay, so hopefully that sound is clear. So technically the Sri Suktam contains these 15 mantras, but it's very common to add the Lakshmi Gayatri mantra at the end to make a 16th mantra for the Suktam. So now we'll do the Lakshmi Gayatri mantra. Mahadevyai cha vitmahe Mahadevyai cha vitmahe Mahadevyai cha vitmahe Vishnupatnyai cha dhimahi Vishnupatnyai cha dhimahi Vishnupatnyai cha dhimahi. Now the full line. Mahadevyai cha vitmahe Vishnupatnyai cha dhimahi Mahadevyai cha vitmahe Vishnupatnyai cha dhimahi Mahadevyai cha vitmahe Vishnupatnyai cha dhimahi And here, notice that there's no extra gap after vidmahe. Sometimes people are adding a slight gap there at the middle of that line. It's where two padas come together in the line. But according to our style of chanting, we don't add a gap there. Now the final line. Tanno Lakshmi prachodayat. Tanno Lakshmi prachodayat. Tanno Lakshmi prachodayat. So here in this line, we have Visarga in Lakshmihi, followed by a pa sound in Prachodayat. So here the Visarga is pronounced as the Upadhmaniya form of Visarga. That's Upadhmaniya, meaning that it's pronounced with the lips. So it's like a f sound, like a fa sound in English. So it sounds like Lakshmi prachodayat, Lakshmi pra, Lakshmi pra. So it sounds like an F sound in English, and there's also holding on the Visarga. I'll just chant it one more time. Tanno Lakshmi prachodayat. Okay, so that concludes the learning for Sri Suktam. So I just want to check if anybody has any questions about any of the pronunciation in Sri Suktam before I do the final review. Okay,
No,
so it seems, okay, so everybody's clear. That's good. So I'm going to go back to the beginning. And I will chant it through 2 times as a final review. And just as a reminder, these bija mantras in parentheses at the start of each line, we're not chanting those because those are would only be chanted by someone who is doing Sri Vidya Upasana. So since this is a public class, we're just leaving those out. ॐ हिरण्यवर्णां हरिणीं सुवर्णरजतस्रजां चन्द्रां हिरण्मयीं लक्ष्मीं जातवेदो महावह तां महावह जातवेदो लक्ष्मीमनपगामिनीम् यस्यां हिरण्यं विन्देयङ्गामश्वं पुरुषानहम् अश्वपूर्वां रथमध्यां हस्तिनादप्रबोधिनीम् श्रियं देवीमुपह्वये श्रीर्मा देवीर्जुषताम् कांसोऽस्मितां हिरण्यप्राकारमार्त्रां ज्वलन्तीं तृप्तां तर्पयन्तीम् पद्मे स्थितां पद्मवर्णां तामिहोपह्वये श्रियम् चन्द्रां प्रभासां यशसा ज्वलन्तीं श्रियं लोके देवजुष्टामुदाराम् तां पद्मिनीमीं शरणमहं प्रपद्ये लक्ष्मीर्मे नश्यतां त्वां वृणे आदित्यवर्णे तपसोऽधिजातो वनस्पतिस्तव वृक्षोऽथ बिल्वः Tasya phalani tapasanudanto mayantarayas cha bahya alakshmi upaitu devasakah kirtischa marnina saha Pradurbhutosmi rashtresmin kirtimruddhin dadatu me Kshutpipasamalan jyeshthamalakshmin nashayamyaham Abhutimasamruddhin cha sarvan nirnudame gruhat गन्धद्वारान्दुरधर्षान् नित्यपुष्टाङ्करेषिणीम् ईश्वरीं सर्वभूतानां तामिहोपह्वये श्रियम् मनसः काममाकूतं वाचः सत्यमशीमहि पशूनां रूपमन्नस्य मयः श्रीश्रयतां यशः कर्तमेन प्रजा भूता महि सम्भव कर्तमा श्रियं वासय मे कुले मातरं पद्ममालिनीम् आपसृजन्तु स्निग्धानि चिक्लीतवसमे गृहे निच देवीं मातरं श्रियं वासय मे कुले आर्द्रां पुष्करिणीं पुष्टिं पिङ्गलां पद्ममालिनीम् चन्द्रां हिरण्मयीं लक्ष्मीं जातवेदो म आवह आर्द्रां यः करिणी यष्टिं सुवर्णां हेममालिनीं सूर्यां हिरण्मयीं लक्ष्मीं जातवेदो म आवह तां म आवह जातवेदो लक्ष्मीमनपगामिनीम् यस्यां हिरण्यं प्रभूतं गावो दास्योष्वान् विन्देयं पुरुषानहम् महादेव्यै च विद्महे विष्णुपत्न्यै च धीमहि तन्नो लक्ष्मीः प्रचोदयात्. Okay, so I actually made one swara mistake that I'm aware of. I didn't want to stop and break the flow. So I'm going to see if I can remember where that was. Okay, I believe it was in this line starting with tasya phalani. So instead of putting the upper swara on ya, I didn't put any swara. So I'm just going to do this one line one more time just to correct that. Tasya phalani tapasanudantu mayantarayascha bahya alakshmihi. So this is something that's good to do anytime that you're chanting or practicing and you realize that you've made a mistake in the swara. If you're practicing on your own, that's a good time to stop and practice that line with correct swaras several times to make sure that you are reinforcing the correct swaras and pronunciation at that time. Otherwise, if you just keep going, sometimes the wrong version of things can get stuck in your brain. So it's always good to go and correct that as soon as possible. So now what I'll do is I will chant the Suktam one more time in a slightly faster pace as the final review. ॐ हिरण्यवर्णां हरिणीं सुवर्णरजतस्रजाम् चन्द्रां हिरण्मयीं लक्ष्मीं जातवेदो म आवह तां म आवह जातवेदो लक्ष्मीमनपगामिनीम् यस्यां हिरण्यं विन्देयङ्गामश्वं पुरुषानहम् अश्वपूर्वां रथमध्यां हस्तिनादप्रबोधिनीम् श्रियं देवीमुपह्वये श्रीर्मा देवीर्जुषताम् कां सुस्मितां हिरण्यप्राकारामार्त्राञ्ज्वलन्तीं तृप्तां तर्पयन्तीं पद्मे स्थितां पद्मवर्णां तामिहोपह्वये श्रियम् चन्द्रां प्रभासां यशसा ज्वलन्तीं श्रियं लोके देवजुष्टामुदारां तां पद्मिनीमीं शरणमहं प्रपद्ये लक्ष्मीर्मे नश्यतान् त्वां वृणे आदित्यवर्णे तपसोऽधिजातो वनस्पतिस्तव वृक्षोऽथ बिल्वः तस्य फलानि तपसानुदन्तो मायान्तरायाश्च बाह्या अलक्ष्मीः उपैतु मां देवसखः कीर्तिश्च मणिना सह प्रादुर्भूतोऽस्मि राष्ट्रेऽस्मिन् कीर्तिमृद्धिं ददातु मे क्षुत्पिपासामलान् ज्येष्ठामलक्ष्मीं नाशयाम्यहम् अभूतिमसमृद्धिं च सर्वान् निर्नुद मे गृहात् गन्धत्वरान्दुरधर्षान् नित्यपुष्टाङ्गरीषिणीम् ईश्वरीं सर्वभूतानां तामिहोपह्वये श्रियम् मनसः काममाकूतं वाचः सत्यमशीमहि पशूनां रूपमन्नस्य मयि श्रीश्रयतां यशः कर्तमेन प्रजा भूता मयि सम्भव कर्तमा श्रियं वासय मे कुले मातरं पद्ममालिनीम् आपसृजन्तु स्निग्धानि चिक्लीतवस मे गृहे निच देवीं मातरं श्रियं वासय मे कुले आर्द्रां पुष्करिणीं पुष्टिं पिङ्गलां पद्ममालिनीम् चन्द्रां हिरण्मयीं लक्ष्मीं जातवेदो म आवह आर्द्रां यः करिणीं यष्टिं सुवर्णां हेममालिनीम् सूर्यां हिरण्मयीं लक्ष्मीं जातवेदो म आवह तां म आवह जातवेदो लक्ष्मीमनपगामिनीम् यस्यां हिरण्यं प्रभूतं गावो दास्योऽश्वान् Vindeyam Purushanaham Mahadevyai cha Vidmahe Vishnupatnyai cha Dhimahi Tanno Lakshmi Prachodayat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. I just will take one final check to see if anyone has any questions on Sri Suktam.
No.
Oh, good.
Okay.
No, thank you so much.
Oh, sure, no problem. So just to recap, Sri Suktam is very beautiful and very powerful. One thing that I have heard from Shri Karunamayi Amma is that chanting Sri Suktam one time is like chanting one entire Veda. And if you chant Sri Suktam 16 times, that's like chanting the all four entire Vedas. So there's a lot of significance and importance given to the Sri Suktam, especially in Sri Vidya, naturally. And of course, it's used every single day as part of the Sri Sukta Shorashopachara Puja in the Sri Vidya Temple. But of course, it is tricky because it comes from Rig Veda and it's not found in Krishna Yajurveda. So in modern times, it's being chanted almost in a hybrid chanting style between Rig Veda and Yajurveda. And not only that, there are many variations. So not just variations in swaras, but also variations in those two mantras that begin with Ardram. There's a lot of different traditions with those two mantras. So you'll hear things being done rather differently in different temples or different guru paramparas and so on. So it's nothing to worry about. These are just different variations. So you can chant it in the style that I have taught it, which is something that would typically be chanted by people who are trained in the style of Krishna Yajurveda. If you've learned in another way, no problem to chant in that style. This is all for Divine Mother, and she definitely accepts the offerings of her devotees. So Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Thank you very much for joining, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.